Hey there, beautiful people, and happy magnificent Monday. I hope that you guys have had a fabulous day with nothing but reasons to smile. And if you haven't, as you know how it goes, by the time that I am done here today, you will have had a reason to smile or laugh, either at me or with me. But you know how it goes, it's always a freebie. Anyway, I hope your day has been great. Today is going to be a little bit of a heavy topic. I'll warn you now, because you're probably not going to hear what you think you're going to hear about forgiveness. It's probably going to shock you a little bit. Hi, Tyson. Hi, Danny. So it's probably going to shock you just a little bit when I get into the details of forgiveness because, well, it's a deep subject and it's a personal subject. So there's no two cases that are alike. However, while people are aborting Tea Time with Lady, I will give everybody a chance to get on before I actually go into the heavy-hitting topic of forgiveness. Hi, Denise. How are you? How are the grandkids? How is everybody? So let me read a couple of my nice things that I like to read. Again, I'm going to read out of N-Word by Young Pueblo. I like him. He's short, simple, sweet, to the point, deep. You know, I tend to read deep. Hi, Curtis. So let me go over some of this. Healing yourself will ask more of you. More rest, more self-love, more letting go, more time for learning, more space for transformation, more honesty about how you feel, more time developing good habits, more courage to try new practices, more faith in yourself and in the process, more time cultivating your inner peace. Hi, Scott. Hi, Angela. Hi, Jeff. Here's another one. Things to practice and integrate. Unconditional self-acceptance, not harming yourself or others, patience without complacency, giving without wanting. Very good. Here's some more. I cannot make you happy, but I can commit to support you in the creation of your own happiness. I think everybody needs that. Hi, Scott. Hi, Crystal. I cannot make you happy, but I can commit to support you in the creation of your own happiness. That is the deepest level of commitment a person can give you, right? I mean, seriously. You have a lot of people that are always around you, but who is really there while you grow? Not many stay the same. I don't know many people that I still have from my youth or from school, or I think I have one childhood friend. So when you grow, the audience tends to thin out, and you get new teammates, you get new tribes, and that's just the way that life goes. Here's one more. Love is not, I will give you this if you do this for me. Love is, I will give you this so that you may shine. I will give this to you so that you may shine. Let me say that correctly. Let me re-say it all again. Love is not, I will give you this. I will give this to you if you do this for me. Love is, I will give this to you so that you may shine. And I think that's, and here's the deep one before I get into a deep subject. Y'all ready? It's a one-liner, but it's a powerful one. It says, true love does not hurt. Attachments do. I'm going to let that sit. You might want to even write that one down, because that's how it's going to hit tonight on the subject of forgiveness. It is going to hit. So I'm going to repeat this one more time. And it is, true love does not hurt. Attachments do. Very important. Very important. Hi, James. So I hope that you guys have had a good day. And I say that over and over again because we don't get this one again. It's pretty much 2 p.m. is over, 1 p.m. is over, this morning at 9 is over, and this morning at 5 a.m. is over. So whatever baggage you've collected through rolling around in your day, I hope that you found a way to put it down. Those moments are gone. So before we even get into this message, I want you to really put down your emotional baggage so that you can hear it. I say that because you can't have angst and stress in each hand and then expect to grab on to something new. So put your baggage down for me right quick. Take in a deep breath. Get your favorite sip or whatever it is. For me, that was water and ice. I have a thing with ice. Probably not good for my teeth, but boy, I love it. So tonight we're going to talk about forgiveness. And so I thought I would start out by giving you a little bit of what I've written, a rough draft, of course, for my book on the subject of forgiveness. It's actually a topic that's in there because it's really big in my life, and I'll go over my own personal story so that I can prove to you that the theory that I give you and the tips that I give you to get through this actually work. All right, so forgiveness. Oh, that word. So easily said for some and so eagerly sought by others. How is it that we remember the things in our life that hurt us so bad? Whether it was a breakup, whether it was, let's see, I lost my spot. A breakup, abuse, a big move, the death of a loved one. How is it that we remember that, but we don't remember our favorite birthday or our favorite movie or somebody that said something kind just because? I'll tell you why. Because when things hurt, there's what's called an emotional boom. It has an emotional reaction in us so strong that you can't help but to let that go. Okay, so I need you to understand that a lot of times when things feel good, or maybe a comment from somebody you don't really, it's not big that they gave you a comment. Maybe somebody who you consider just a person in your life goes, "Oh, you look great today." And you're just like, "Okay, thank you." But then this guy or this girl that you're really liking and really after, they go, "Oh, you look great today." And you're like, "Oh, well, thank you." You take on this whole different person, and that sticks with you. You're going to always remember when that guy or that girl gave you that compliment. The same thing is true for bad news, right? When somebody who you really expect to love you and be there for you, and somebody who you've given this everything to, maybe it's a spouse or a child or somebody, when they come back and they throw something at you that hurts, whether it's you're now breaking up, or whether it's a hateful word like "I hate you," coming from your kid. Oh God, I don't know what I would do with that one. But if that happens, the reason you remember it is because there's an emotional boom. There's something in you that says, "Oh, that hurt," and you usually go, "I won't forget that." That's usually what comes next. Is you're like, "I won't forget that." The problem with doing that, and that whole "I won't forget that," is that's literally what happens. It goes way into your nice subconscious, and it gets all cozy in a nice little sleeping bag, and it stays there as the wounded soldier, so to speak. So let me see. So what does unforgiveness feel like? It feels heavy. It brings you an instant feeling of sadness or sometimes anger. It leaves you lost and looking for answers. Leaves you trying to figure things out. It's making yourself a cast member in a dark play that doesn't even exist anymore. You feel hopeless in trying to figure it out. And that's because it no longer lives. That moment no longer exists. And that's the reason, and that's the first reason forgiveness is so important. You're holding on to something that no longer exists, but only in your memory. The boomerang effect comes when a person comes into your life, or a situation comes into your life, and it touches that old sore of where somebody hurt you before that you have not forgiven, and it feels brand new all over again. You see, your body doesn't understand if it's something that happened 10 years ago or 10 minutes ago or right now. So when you go relive that thing that you hadn't forgiven with somebody, it reopens that wound. And because you're not forgiving it, it just like the soldier goes into attack and then it goes back to sleep. And then when something brings it back up, the soldier goes into attack and then it goes back to sleep. So it doesn't really, you're like, "Oh, I'm not bothered by it. It doesn't matter. I'm good. I'm, trying to play this big person." But in reality, it's controlling a big system in your life. It's controlling a lot of things in your life, actually. What else did I write? So why forgive? With every emotion, energy is used and held in its place. By holding on to negative energy, it literally breaks your body down. Now, in my book, I use the story of a teapot. So stay with me as I read this part, and I kind of help you see it in the teapot theory. It's like a teapot on high on the stove. The steam removes a little bit of the heat, which is symbolic of your reactions, right? That removes a little bit of the heat. But the water, which is the subject that you're mad at, is still boiling. If it goes unchecked and the fire continues to go, which is your reaction to it, and it stays lit, that pot, which is symbolic of your body, eventually burns. It cracks. It sometimes blows up or even catches fire. And it's because it's still in there. It's still boiling. That fire is still lit. So you're still having this unforgiveness that's in you that is quiet, like I said, until something pokes it. It's like poking the bear, right? It just lays there, like I said, like the sleeping soldier until it's needed. And then all of a sudden it comes and it, it makes a mess of things. So, let's see what I say. Here's the thing. Forgiveness helps us get over the burning up, past the pain, and allows for other things to enter. If you have both your hands busy, one in protecting yourself and the other in blaming, how can you dare have your arms open up to love? Don't you deserve to be free? Don't you deserve to live in newness? Don't you deserve to get past mental torment? Don't you deserve to live a life in truth instead of what is tied to the past? Don't you deserve to spend a life living all the way for yourself instead of angry at a situation that no longer exists? I believe you do. This is not saying the person was right for what they did. And I want to express this because many times we feel like if we forgive somebody, then we're giving them a pass. Or we're telling them like, it's okay for what you did. I'm just going to be a fool. It's okay. That's so far from the truth because the biggest reason people don't forgive, and this is going to suck when you hear it, but the number one reason people don't forgive is ego. Because if your ego feels like it can hold on to something and hold over somebody and have a reason to be mad, then it won't have to give into love. Now, ego is not the one thing that you want to sit there and have as the leader of your show. And Wayne Dyer said it best when he said ego is edging God out. And that's the best said, because love doesn't keep score. And it doesn't look for compensation, and it doesn't look for right or wrongs. It loves and it learns. Love says, hey, it's not about, hi Lynn, hi Michael. It's not about what a person did. It's my choice to deal with it how I will and to go on. Now, I'll go on to say this. This is saying I choose love. Martin Luther King Jr. said it perfectly when he said, I have decided to stick with love, for hate is too great a burden to bear. You can't imagine the freedom that you will feel when you just choose to let go and actually forgive. Many people do this. They go, well, if I don't think about it, then I forgave it. If I don't think about it, then, I'm okay. That's not true. There is an act of forgiving, and I will get to this. By the end of tonight, by the end of this, which is just a little bit here, I will tell you the number one easiest way to get to that point. So stay with me. You let go of the expectation. You let go of the who's right and who's wrong with things. You let go of the feeling of you didn't deserve it or they simply deserve what's coming to them. You simply just become free. You have no reason to keep this internal argument going on. You have space now to fill with love and the better things. But ego says, hi Lois, ego says, I want to hold on to what that person did. I want to hold on. I want to see them pay. That's ego. That is not love. So this is what trips me out about people. We talk all this big thing about love and faith and all this stuff, but do you live it? Like, do you really live it? Because harboring resentment, from the last time I checked, is really not something that love does. It's really not something that faith does. Faith says, that's not my business. I'm not worried about the how. I'm not worried about the what. I'm just worried about moving on forward into my life. So here's some more. So how do you do it? Good question. People have paid the price for this one, not just for therapy, so to speak, but on digging themselves out of holes that unforgiveness has actually put them in. So you're saying, what are you talking about there, Amy? What holes did unforgiveness put them in? I'll tell you, there's times that you popped off at somebody undeservingly because you haven't learned to forgive something from somebody from your past, and somebody in your present or possibly in your future paid the price or can pay the price for that. So you may have to go buy flowers. You may have to even go to counseling. You may have to go and find a way to get somebody to hear you again. And you may have lost the best thing that could have happened to you in that moment. You may have lost something beautiful that was meant for you because of your unwillingness to seek deep inside and go in, and I'm going to tell you how in this next step, and get rid of it. Get rid of that heavy baggage. All right, so here we go. The first thing you need to do is, one, put your guard down. That's number one. For some of you, that's going to be the job in itself because you haven't took a deep look inside yourself in a very long time. There's a lot of cobwebs there. You built you did some good masonry work. You got some bricks thicker than I don't know what, and you're going to have to let your guard down. Because you cannot see, hi Gilbert, you cannot see where it is inside of you that you're stuck, where your hang up is, where your unforgiveness is until you look inside. You can't do the peeping thing like, well, I'm going to kind of look at what my issue is. I'm going to kind of look at who I don't forgive. No, you have to say, here I am, wide open, eyes wide open. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to think about whatever it is. I'm going to look at myself in the truest way. I'm going to go deep. I'm going to go there with myself. And you have to be prepared for that. That's step one. Now, you have to see what's in there. Better yet, who is in there? You know, who's in there that makes you upset? Be honest and open with yourself. This is where I'm fine, I'm good, it didn't matter, who cares? This is where it has to stop. That is nothing but cover up. You hear me? All those I'm fine, I'm whatever. No, you think you're fine, but you don't know that you're still spewing. You're still that pot that's on the fire getting ready to crack and burst. You're still like this, and you can't receive the things in life because you're holding on to fight, and half of it's protection and the other half is excuses. So whichever one, but I'd put them both down if I were you, because why have that when you can have love? And I'm being serious. And stop categorizing love as a romantic thing. There's so many different types of love, and maybe I'll do a live on that. There's not just one type of love. I believe there's 4 or more. And so when you think of love, I want you to think of that one thing that you can't grab that feels beautiful, that you can't own, but you can partake in. That one thing that gives you this presence that you can't duplicate. This is the love that I'm talking about. The freedom, the lightness, the sunshine that's inside of you that you can't grab. That's love. Okay, hold on. So, trying to be tougher than your truths will never get you far. I hope you underline that when you read my book, because that's a big line. I'll reread it. Trying to be tougher than your truths will never get you far. It will get you into excuse after excuse. Okay. Now, being honest and vulnerable to yourself will get you far. That will get you far. Then the second thing is, here's where I give you the instruction. Okay, get your pen and paper. Get your pen and paper. Get your pen and paper. I'll let you get your pen and paper. You guys got me fired up on excuse because it is the most freeing thing you can do. This whole forgiveness, you guys got me fired up. You guys got me on the topic of forgiveness. I am fired up. Let me say that again. Okay. I need you to get a piece of paper that you are going to, we'll use this paper. And you're going to put the person's name up here. Not right now. You can write down just the instructions, but I just want to show you how it's done. So you're going to think of who these people are that you owe forgiveness to. And what you're going to do is write letters of forgiveness. Write, not type, not think out loud, not record, but actually write letters of forgiveness, okay? You will do a letter for each person. At the top of the page, you're going to write the name. And then this is what usually happens. I know with my clients and with myself, this is what happens. I wrote the name on the top. I sat the paper down and I stared at it. I stared at that paper because I stared at it. I really stared at it. It wasn't like I thought, okay, I'm going to be able to go off on this paper. But that's really not how it went. I actually stared at the paper. So, for most people, and I write that in the book, for most people, they'll sit and stare at the blank page with the name for a while, and then they'll start to write. Before long, tears will shed, and a lightness is felt, and the burden is gone. I don't suggest writing these all in one day, or to all these people in one day, as it takes time to do this. And you'll need a little time to recycle emotionally. In the letter, be honest. Lay your heart out. This is your time to say all you've wanted to say. Take your time with this. See it as if the person is right there in front of you and you can speak your truth uninterrupted. When I say speak your truth, I mean that because I'm sure you guys have heard it, right? Usually your memory lies. It works in your favor sometimes, and so it always makes you the good guy and the other person the bad guy. I mean, why would it? It lives in your head, right? So you have to be careful with that. But with this exercise, speak your truth. It doesn't matter. Hi, David. It doesn't matter whatever it feels like. You need to speak your truth on this paper, and you need to say it as if they were in front of you uninterrupted. Boy, that's a golden conversation, right? Being able to tell somebody how you feel and not be interrupted or not have them make faces at you, like, where you're trying to tell the truth. So take advantage of this time. Then let them know at the very end of that letter, your last words in this letter is, and I forgive you. You have to include that part. You have to say, and I forgive you. Because this is where you're letting it go. This is where you spoke your piece. This is where you've said, and I forgive you. Because you have got to get the point to understanding that what wrong somebody did to you, it wasn't about you at all. It was about them. The measure that a person gives you shows you the level of the cup that they live in. And you have to remember that. You have to stop feeling like you're getting a representation of yourself. You're actually getting a representation of another person. So what you do from there is, in this process, and I'm going to close, I'm going to get on this part, and then I'm going to tell you something very important. In this process, you must include yourself. There are things you still hold on to about yourself that you have a hard time forgiving. So you just keep tucking it away, and eventually, these things that you keep tucking away, they become what we call remorse. Then it grows into a hard place and it gets callous where no love can move into. Maybe you did someone wrong. Maybe you said some hurtful things. Maybe you made some dumb decisions. Whatever it is time to forgive yourself. Once it is all done, you have to remember it is gone. You can burn it, you can shred it, you can flush it down the toilet, you can do as you wish. But you must remember one thing. Once you've written these letters, it's done. So anytime your thoughts try to take you back to that place again, because remember, our memory is what does that, and we've been calling this soldier to fight this battle for so long, it's gonna happen. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna tell yourself, when that thing pops up, when that feeling pops up, when that person's face pops up and it makes you feel kind of funny, this is what you say: forgiven. That's it. Forgiven. Don't look for the long, lengthy, well, I already wrote. No, forgiven. It's as simple as that. As people, we tend to reach and stretch and try to find all these excuses and these reasons. Life is so simple. It's really so simple, but we get so extra creative. So make sure that you say it is done. Forgiven. Sorry, say forgiven, and that thought will no longer have run room. Once this exercise is done, and once you understand how to use forgiven, you will feel the lightness, the joy, the capacity to love, and you will see just how beneficial it was to forgive. You are too wonderful and too amazing to feel as if you have to carry such heavy baggage. It was never what the person did to you that is actually hurting you as much as you continuing to suffer for it. So that section is on the book. It is in the book on forgiveness. I was asked to speak about this tonight, so I pulled from my book, and I'm pulling from my heart now to give you a story of my own. And this was the most interesting part, because I didn't know where to take you, because I could take you to my childhood, and we could talk about physical and sexual abuse as a child. We could talk about adulthood, where as an adult I was drugged down a flight of stairs and locked in a closet for 3 days from a man. We could talk about my other adulthood, where I was beat terribly, and my son was actually beat. It was a crazy situation by law enforcement. I could take you to a lot of different places. I know a lot of times when people see me, they say, wow, she must have had an easygoing life. But I'm here to tell you, the only reason that you feel the passion behind my voice is because of the life that I've endured, the life that I persevered through, and the life that I choose to love, the life that I choose to forgive through. So I will give you first the story. Well, I'll give you one example. And I think the best one to give you is the one where I hadn't had children yet. And I was, for those of you who don't know, I left home very young. Between foster cares and moving around and everything else, I left home very young. And so I found probably a not so credible person to decide to cohabitate with, we'll just say. And I have always been kind of an outgoing person. For people who have known me for a long time, I've been a pretty outgoing person, but I wasn't as let's just say, as positive of an outgoing person when I was younger. So I dealt with some rough people. Let's go there. And so I was in there playing cards, and he decided that that wasn't what I needed to be doing. I needed to be, I guess, home being Betty Crocker, whatever it was at that time. So he came and he proceeded to literally drag me down a flight of stairs by my hair, throw me in a car, which was his car, and then he was trying to hit me. And I got, I was tough. I was, I was a tough girl. And so I decided that I said, you want to hit me, hit me. And I moved my hands so that he could hit me. And he literally clocked me, and then he kept hitting me and hitting me. By the time we got to the apartment, I fell out the car. I had lost some level of consciousness, and things were kind of a blur. And we get into I guess had realized what he did. So he kind of, big guy, kind of picks me up. I'm 5'2". It doesn't take a whole lot, okay? So he picks me up and he takes me into the house, and he sees, I guess, what he had did, and I still hadn't, but I needed to use the restroom. And so he said, that's fine, use the restroom, just don't turn the light on. And so okay, whatever. So I go to the restroom, and I'm washing my hands, and the moon is kind of coming in through the window and kind of hitting the mirror that's in front of me. So I noticed my face looked a little weird. It looked a little lumpy. And so I kind of panicked, and I flipped on the bathroom switch, and I literally had no vision on my left side. My eye was swollen shut, and I had a lump, and I had bruises, and I had a split. And I screamed because I was very fearful, and I'd never seen a face I didn't recognize. Like, I literally did not recognize myself. In that moment, I had the most weird experience going. I'm looking at a woman. I don't even know who she is. That's not the face that I was used to. So he, being scared and being young, and he was probably at the time had his own issues, he threw me into a closet, and he locked it. It was one of the ones that had the lock on the outside. And I guess him being scared, he was afraid that I would get him sent to jail or whatever it was. And so for days he slid, these little things under the door to keep me fed. And, the hard part, I know this is TMI for some people, and this is very deep for some people, but I want this message to hit home for a particular person who asked me to do this message. And, something happens when you hold your urine and when you hold your feces for so long and you're in these closets. And so I finally got out, and I'm safe and I'm okay. But I'm here to tell you that it took a lot of time for me to forgive, because it made me very sick. There was a big mistrust that I had for men, a disappointment that I had for men. I felt like, wow, because there were other people there that watched me get drugged, and they were all males, minus like a couple females. And I thought, wow, like, what man doesn't stand up for for a woman who is being beaten, or literally pulled down the stairs by her hair. And my hair is very long. It's always been long. So he had a lot to hold on to. And I can say this now with a smile on my face, because I send him nothing but love. And I mean that, because he must have been one hurt person and one small person on the inside to ever hurt anybody, much less a woman who at that point I probably tried to do nothing but smother him with love. But I think we expect people to pour from the same cup that we have, and we have to understand we are our own teacups. We are our own level of love. We are our own level of understanding. So when we're looking for forgiveness, or when we're looking for somebody to tell us they're sorry, that's really the ego, because love doesn't take score. And love says, I can't judge, or I wouldn't be loving. So I forgive the person that did that to me, along with anybody else who's ever did anything to me. And I'm very thankful, because the depth of the love that I have to give goes beyond the average cup. And it's only because I've endured more than the average. So that's it. I hope that you guys have enjoyed my talk tonight. I am being transparent with you. Carmen, thank you for being here tonight. She's another woman who actually got to be in a mentorship program of mine, and I have seen her blossom and bloom and get through some amazing things. And so Yes. Hi, Diane. And so I just want to tell you guys that you are loved. I'm telling you, you are loved. So write the letters, get get it out, get it out. Write those letters and get it out. And it's the first step to being free. And I will tell you this, in the stories that I share, whether it's on here or whether it's in my book, I don't share or brag or want to say that I have the worst stories. It's not my sad stories that I'm trying to sell you on. It's the freedom that I gained by learning to love that I want you to one day just accept fully and freely, because it is yours. It is yours for the taking. God gave us that, right? God bless you guys. Make sure you take yourself at least 2 times a day. I can. I will. And I am so worth it. God bless you guys. Have a fabulous rest of your Monday, and I will see you tomorrow at 6.